There is something I have never told anyone. I am saying it here for the first time, because after you turn 81, you don't have many secrets left to protect. Everything you keep inside throughout your life becomes heavier when you get older. When you're young, you tell yourself, I'll talk about it later. And then, one day, you realize that the later you kept postponing never actually arrived. That is what happened to me. If you are reading this, maybe you still have time not to make the same mistakes I did, because some decisions have no second chance. And the people who know this best are the ones who are running out of time. I am 81 years old. From the outside, my life looks ordinary. I got married, raised children, worked, and retired. But no one can see the regrets a person carries inside. People think you become wise when you grow old. No, you just see your past more clearly. And some nights, you can't sleep because of how clear everything becomes. When I was young, I tried to be strong. I was the woman who listened to everyone's problems, helped everyone, and tried not to hurt anyone. But no one knew what I was carrying inside. People always said, "You're strong. You can handle anything." The first time I heard that, I felt proud. Now, when I look back, I see how much damage that sentence did to me. Trying to look strong to others slowly makes you cruel to yourself. I was 21 when I got married. I wasn't really trying to get married. I was trying to escape. My father was a harsh man. Even speaking at home required courage. Marriage looked like freedom to me. But I learned very late that running away from one house and hiding in another is not freedom. My husband was not a bad man, but he never truly understood me. Over time, I stopped trying to explain myself, because when you feel unseen, you learn to stay silent. When my first child was born, I thought I had found the meaning of my life. The moment I held her, it felt like the whole world stopped. But no one told me that motherhood is not only love, but also a deep kind of loneliness. When I stayed up all night, I stayed silent so I wouldn't burden anyone. I swallowed my exhaustion, my resentment, my fear. Everyone saw me as the selfless mother. But selflessness can slowly erase a person. No one teaches you that. Years passed. The children grew up. The noise in the house faded. A home that was once full of movement became quiet. And it is in that quiet that you start hearing yourself. That's when I realized I had never really lived my own life. I always said, later, when the children grow up, when things get better. That later never came. Things were never perfect, but time kept passing. In my 40s, I had a dream. I wanted to buy a small house outside the city, wake up early, drink my coffee in the garden, spend a day without answering to anyone. I never told anyone this dream. Because when you share your dreams, people either belittle them or say, be realistic. So I became realistic. So realistic that I silenced my dreams completely. Now I am 81 and I still imagine that coffee in the garden. But I no longer have the strength to make that dream real. As you grow old, the biggest pain comes from the things you never did. Mistakes can be forgiven over time. But the things you never tried stay inside you. The words you never said, the roads you never took, the decisions you never dared to make. They become a heavy weight in old age, because there is no longer enough time left to lighten that weight. One day, I ran into an old friend I hadn't spoken to in years. We sat on a bench. We were both old. Our hair was white, our faces full of lines. She looked at me and asked, "Did you live the life you dreamed of when you were young?" I couldn't answer. I just stayed silent. In that moment, something broke inside me, because my silence was the answer. No, I didn't. And realizing that hurts. When I look back today, I see this clearly. Life does not forgive those who keep postponing. Every time you say, "I'll do it someday," you are quietly stealing from yourself. The things you don't dare to do when you are young come back as regret when you are old. And regret is one of the heaviest things to carry. I am not writing this to make you feel sorry for me. I am writing this because if someone who still has time is reading this, maybe they will pause for a moment. Maybe they will look at their life from the outside. Maybe they will decide to do tomorrow what they brushed off today. Because I want you to know this. When you live mostly for others, you slowly become a stranger to yourself. Today, I am not angry at anyone anymore, but I am disappointed in myself because I waited too long to live for me. And I am telling you honestly, if you have a dream you are keeping inside, if there is a decision you keep postponing, if there is a life you keep saying now is not the time for, one day, that time may never come. Next, I will tell you the 7 things I regret most in my life and why I realized them too late. But the real question is this. Will you wait until the end to learn these lessons, or will you change something while you still can? When you grow older and look back, some moments become clearer. It's as if the film of your life speeds up and certain scenes start replaying again and again. The scenes that repeat in my mind are usually the quiet ones, the moments no one noticed, but that slowly ate away at me from the inside. Today, I'm going to tell you about 7 things I gradually let go of in my life and realized too late. These are not big philosophical statements. They are small, everyday habits that slowly consume a person from the inside. First, I stopped trying to please everyone. When I was young, I worked hard to be liked. I gave up parts of myself so I wouldn't say no, so I wouldn't upset anyone, so I wouldn't look bad in anyone's eyes. Over time, I realized this. When you try to please everyone, the last person you end up pleasing is yourself. The more people believe you have no boundaries, the more they expect from you. And the more you give, the more you feel like it is never enough. When I reached my 70s, I finally learned to say, I don't want to do this. I wish I had learned that at 20. Second, I stopped taking what other people think too seriously. When you are young, people's opinions feel heavy. What you wear, how you speak, what you do. Everyone's thoughts take up space in your head. But as you get older, you see this clearly. Most people are so busy with their own lives that they don't think about you as much as you imagine. When I think about the things I didn't do because of what will people say, my chest tightens. Because those people are not in my life anymore, but the moments I gave up are still inside me. Third, I stopped trying to look strong all the time. All my life I said, I'll handle it. Not asking for help and not showing weakness was taught to me as a virtue. But carrying everything alone doesn't make you stronger. It slowly wears you down. I understood this very late. When I finally said I was struggling, I saw that people didn't love me less. They felt closer to me. I wish I had been able to say earlier that I was hurt, tired, and afraid. Fourth, I stopped replaying my past mistakes in my head. Some nights, I would lie awake thinking about a sentence I said years ago. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have gone there that day. I should have acted differently. Over time, I realized this. Past mistakes cannot be fixed in the present. They only poison today. You have to learn to forgive yourself. By the time I learned that, many years had already passed. If I hadn't been so harsh with myself, maybe my life would have felt lighter. Fifth, I stopped wasting my time getting angry over small things. I used to get angry in traffic. I would hold on to small misunderstandings for days. I would turn tiny mistakes into big problems. Now, when I look back, I ask myself what those angers gave me. Nothing. They only made my days heavier. When you realize how limited time is, you become more careful about where you spend your energy. I reached that awareness too late. Sixth, I stopped comparing myself to others. When I was young, I looked at other people's lives and felt my own was lacking. She is more successful than me. His family is happier. They have better opportunities. These comparisons don't motivate you. They slowly eat away at your sense of worth. Everyone's life looks different from the outside. You don't know the weight they carry inside. Until I understood this, I spent years feeling smaller than I was. I wish I had respected my own path much earlier. Seventh, I stopped postponing life. This is the most painful one. Everything I said I'll do later to slowly turned into a list of things I never did. Going to hug someone, taking a trip, trying a dream. People keep waiting for the right time, but the right time often never comes. Life doesn't move according to our plans. I accepted this too late. That's why I still say this today. If you feel the urge to do something, don't wait for the perfect moment. That moment may never come. Today, I am 81 years old, and I don't deny that I'm getting closer to the end of my life. But I also know this. Living with what-ifs ages your soul much earlier. I am gentler with myself now. I'm not angry at my past self. She did the best she could with what she knew back then.